Good evening, folks. How are we today? Let me see what our levels are like. I've got a whole bunch of things that I need to figure out. So let me see. Let me make sure I'm well. Okay. So trust everything to go wrong as soon as you start streaming, but apparently the thing I use for music has broken stuff. It's asking me to add my YouTube channel, but it won't let me click let's go because it's just terrible. Okay. Don't know if I'm going to be able to fix it before the live stream, so I might just have to just risk it or not upload this to YouTube, one or the other. Anyway, it is what it is. Let me just see what I can do. I need to disconnect my trackpad, my keyboard. Here. What? There we go. Board. Boom. We're in. Fantastico. So, how is everybody this evening? At least for me, it's evening. I don't know what it's like for y'all. I'm going to turn that down a click. Hopefully, the music isn't too loud. Anth codes, yo, how you getting on? How's it going? I'm here for my once a month stream. I'm doing some Authmaker development, or rather specifically, I am building a SASS, an actual product. I don't know if I put it here. Yeah, I need to do some work on this marketing site. But the thing that I like to call the types of products that I'm building today is a single feature app. So Authmaker is a tool that I built. It's kind of been mothballed a little bit because I just haven't had the time to work on it. But it is essentially something that allows you to get up and running incredibly quickly to build what I like to call a single feature app. So if you're building something small, something like self-contained, you should be able to build it, I say, in 3 days. Because, you know, modern technology, it shouldn't take you 2 weeks to figure out stuff and 2 weeks to get your login thing working and payment set up, etc., etc. You should be doing it quickly. And you should be able to focus on your product rather than actually developing. Ooh, what's going on there? Okay, screen turns off every so often, but it's fine. But yeah, so instead of having to like worry about the details, you can worry about your product, and that's what we're doing. And we did this a little bit last month. What's this? Okay, I was doing some open source work on. So it's not agnostic to frameworks. So if you know me, you know that I am a massive fan of Ember. It is not agnostic to frameworks for a reason. Yeah, buddy. Ember for the win. So the point of this is you should be focused on working on your product. And it is my opinion, and I can demo it, I can show that to people with facts, that Ember is the best framework to be building a single feature app, a new software business, a new software as a service, like anything bigger than a web page. Ember is the best software to use, the best library to use, the best framework to use. And the reason for that is because I can give you most of the work in terms of an Ember add-on. You just need to install one Ember add-on, and I, creator of Authmaker, I can give you a bunch of stuff that can just inject into your app in a sensible way, not too crazy. That will just do most of the work for you. That seems reasonable. That seems like a good idea. And apart from the fact, like other reasons, like Ember is just fantastic to work with, incredibly productive. Let me see. Do I have? Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Atom, Simple Auth, Path Watcher. So I was trying to fix Atom when I was on this computer. Open source front end. Ooh, open source front end. There we go. Software was installed. Okay, thank you. Whatever that means. Got Ember data, which we don't really need. Minimize you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. I'm just going to put everything in the right place so that I know what I'm doing. Okay, so where we left off last month was recap. Oh, actually, hold on. My to-do items at the top there are not correct. Did they not start? Let me just check this. Yeah. What if I do this? And then turn it back on. Backend development. Recap. Oh, backend development and there we go. That's why. Because I didn't write the last one properly. Perfect. So yes, so the recap, to show you where we left off, I had just about installed this dev dependency, Authmaker Ember Simple Auth, and I was following along the documentation here, the Authmaker documentation, and we had created our Authmaker instance, which was pretty cool. In fact, I'm going to log in. Yes, please. So this is our instance for opensourceq.com, which is the thing that we're building. We had built our Authmaker instance. We also built our MongoDB database in Atlas because it's super awesome. We generated our app, and then we tried to, what did we try to do? Create your app. We tried to install Authmaker Ember Simple Auth, and everything exploded. So it exploded because I hadn't updated Authmaker Ember Simple Auth, and we've recently gone through Ember 4.0, and it just didn't work. So I needed to go and do some open source development on that to make it work. And now I released a 4.0 and a 5.0 since last time we were on this development track, and it works now. And what it means is I did this. I did what it told me to do. It tells you to go to your Authmaker dashboard, this thing here, and click the local Ember config. So it gives you like the information that you need to paste into your environment. So you just follow the instruction. And then we create a login button, which is what we did, I think. So I have a controller application. The documentation is out of date because it's got like the old style of doing it. I'll have to update that at some point. But essentially, we pull in the session service. We have a login and log out. Yes, so Authmaker, good question, Anthcodes. So Authmaker is its own OAuth provider. It is different to Auth0 in one very hyper-specific way. It is open source. I haven't pushed the button to make this source visible yet because I want to get some people using it and getting some feedback, and hopefully make some money for some people, because that one of the key things about this is that it integrates with Stripe. You can easily charge people for your feature, for your app. And I want to pay for a security audit before I make the actual code open source. But it will be open source. I want to provide a hosted version, which is what you're seeing here, for people to get set up incredibly quickly. But it is very different from Auth0 in that regard. So let's get this running. What do we got? We got open source front end. npm start. Right here. Okay, what do we got? So if we go localhost 4200. Oh, I'm already logged in. So the thing that I've built is just a very simple application. Oh, I've got a login button in the header. Okay, and then I've got a main outlet. Fine, makes sense. If you're authenticated, the button is a logout button. If you're not authenticated, it's a login button. So now let's log in. And this is the magic of the hosted version of Authmaker. Open source q.authmaker.app. Sign in, blah, 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 magic, magic, magic. And I have just enabled sign in with GitHub because open source Q is supposed to be like a queue of my open source work. So I want to be able to pull in data from GitHub. So you need to have access tokens, etc., etc., etc. So it would be a reasonable thing to log in with GitHub here. And bing bada boom, we're logged in. And that is using the local config here. So when we go live, we want to use the live one because that did a whole bunch of redirects, and it's an implicit OAuth grant to like just redirect back to your browser with the right tokens, etc. And the Ember add-on has all taken care of that for you. So that's us recapped. We're back up to where we were, and it's now working as intended. The documentation, I actually have done the next step of the documentation. So generate your backend app. I created my app backend. I ran Yo Authmaker Express, which is something you need to install globally. I'm going to probably fix that so you don't need to install it globally, and it could just be an npx or whatever. And it creates an Express app for you, and then you can just run start local, which I think I can do here. npm run start local. Is it going to do the thing for me? Start local. Is that not what? I might have changed this actually. It might just be npm start. Development. npm start. And now we have a backend that is connected to the same database that that we logged in through a second ago. So I now have an actual backend that we can create some endpoints that can go off and query GitHub for me. So server, you see jobs. So we did create a jobs thing. Okay, so here we go. Here's the interesting thing. The thing that I'm not quite sure about our next step here is we probably don't want this to be like a live view of GitHub, because we don't want it to be like bound by the GitHub the GitHub word. I can't think of the right word. Rate limiting. Boom, got there in the end. We don't want to be bound by GitHub rate limiting. We probably want our service to go to GitHub and like essentially download the things that we need into our database so we can just view them on this app. So the things that we probably want, and the idea here is that I want to be able to see like pull requests, projects that I am interested in, and I just want to like put them in an order, and I get to change the order essentially in this app. It's quite simple, really. Cool. Let's try that. So what I'm probably gonna do, just so we can do something interesting, is I'm probably going to create ourselves like a let's put some style in here. What am I gonna do? Got our logout button. I'll probably put in one here as well if we're authenticated. Let's do a button, and that's going to be type equals button. Don't think. We want a button that says refresh GitHub data. When I click that, it's going to do an asynchronous thing in the back end. So let's just do something really easy for that. So, oh, this is interesting. We're about to do an async action. And that's actually not a great idea in Ember, because it's a better way to do it. I'm just going to do it as an async action now, and we can show improving it later. Async, and that's refresh data. And that's going to be, in fact, that's yeah, no, because it's going to return quickly. So excuse me. Fetch, and we're going to do this, but we're going to do API host, and it's going to be let me see. Oh, I might host. Sorry, folks. Big sneeze. Okay, so we're gonna do V1, and we're gonna refresh. Why not? Oh, Florian! Welcome, welcome. Yeah. That's an interesting one. I don't really know what to do in this scenario. Cool. So while we're there, we're going to go Ember get config. Ooh, interesting. And then I want, let's see, got here, do config environment. Just before anybody freaks out, a client ID is not a secure thing, so you don't need to worry about that. What am I doing? I'm gonna go API host. And then I suppose in development, oop, 3000, and then we can worry about production at a later date. Yeah, cool, let's do that. Ember install Ember get config. Ooh. Florian, tell me, have I talked to you about Authmaker before? Ooh. Can be branded as well. Look at this. Oh yeah. Oh. Start. I just like Ember get config. Totally overkill for what I'm doing here, but no, not at all. So we're going to get to see something new. API host. So, because I like destructuring. Ooh. So let me go here. Ember in the back end. So it's not Ember in the back end, it is Node in the back end. So, but it is I have an opinionated thing that creates a backend for you, which isn't technically the Authmaker thing, but yeah, it's just a way to build things incredibly quickly. You'll see if you hang around for a little while. Cool. So this is my idea. I want to have this button that on click we do this dot refresh data, and that's going to do a let's bring up DevTools. 404 not found. So what that's going to do is it's going to hit our backend. And what we're going to do is, what do we call it? We just called it refresh, didn't we? We'll create a new file here, refresh.js. And rude. I've forgotten how I did this. Oh look, it's me. Oh, there are people using this. That's great. That's good news. Boom. Auto route. Blah blah blah. Module exports. Boom. What we need. So in our refresh, we're gonna do this. There's a name I haven't seen in a while. So, it's very well. So, by saving that and refreshing, we have created an endpoint. Refresh. Get some prettier in there. Get out of here. Not gonna happen, my friend. Not gonna happen. So the thing that we want to do here, well, so first of all, I don't know if I need to return something here. Network. Pending, so it's always going to return. The refresh is just rec res, and then you can do res.send. Hello. We've got a 200, okay. Hello. Boom, we've got a back end. So the thing that I want to do with this particular back end is I want us to take a break because we've finished our first Pomodoro. Zoom. First Pomodoro break. So how long have I got you for, Florian? What are you doing here on a Saturday night? Should be out partying. How is everybody? How is everybody doing? Do we have any Europeans in the house? Do we have any Americans in the house? Anybody more exotic than those two places? Let me close this. People are messaging me. Okay. What have we got? Just a mere Geordie. Mere Geordie. Geordies are one of the greatest people alive. I'm mildly biased. Oh god, it's getting quite hot in this room. Let me go and find my thermostat and turn it the hell down, because that is ridiculous. Okay. What am I doing here? I'm just going to check and see. Yeah, everything's all in order. Bavarian, yes. Got the Foxy 81 in Glasgow. Lots of people in Bavaria, obviously. Yes, I knew that one. What are we doing here on your Saturday nights, people? I can't be that interesting. I guess it is Authmaker work, so very exciting. Always fun to do a bit of back-end development where, like, yes, you can make things... Oh, yeah. Heckling from the sidelines. Yes, that is also fun. There's great entertainment of a Saturday. If you're drinking, it gets even more exciting. Anth codes. Coding auth as well. How spooky. See, this is one of the reasons why Authmaker is such a big deal for me. So many people spend so much time coding auth. Like, it should just be done. We shouldn't have to do it anymore. Authentication is not the job of anybody who wants to develop an app. And it should just be easy. That's what Authmaker does. And amen. The key thing that I need to get very much better at communicating here is that, like, it fully integrates into Stripe. Oh no, migrating users to a different database. That is badness. The thing about Authmaker is that the way that people tend to build, like, a single feature app, as I call it, like something small, like a little toy, they build it and they focus on the app, and they probably should do that, you know, get the thing working. And then when they're done, they've spent 2 weeks of their spare time, or like a week full time if they're between things or whatever. Then they sit down and say, right, how do we add users to this? it's so painful to add auth after you've built the whole thing. Like, you're going to spend 3 weeks. Like, and you can't then sell access to your app for like €1, £1, $1 a month, because you spent 3 weeks of hard coding, building and integrating authentication and payment and monitoring, etc., etc., etc. And it's like, oh. So, you know, you have to charge more for it. So people make the decision not to charge because they just built it for like a week and wanted to like get it out there. So Authmaker turns that on its head. You build it with auth from the beginning, and the auth is like almost a 0 effort thing. It's like ridiculously easy. And Dragonblood, while auth should be easy, I don't believe it's something that can be entrusted to others. I 100% agree. And that's why Authmaker doesn't have its own database. When you sign up for Authmaker and you create yourself one of these Authmaker dashboard things, you give it a connection string for a MongoDB database, and it connects to that. So I recommend MongoDB Atlas because you can get a free connection from that. And it puts its database stuff into your database. So, and it's free. Well, it's open source. So if you don't like what Authmaker Inc., which isn't a thing at the moment, this is evening and weekends for me. If you don't like what it's doing, you can host it yourself with the same database. So there's no migration cost. Anyway, that's the big idea. Let's get into building an app. 25 minutes. Right, what are we doing? So the idea here is that I want us to be able to push this button, and it essentially then creates a background job. And these background jobs are using a thing. Ugh, this. I think Faker recently proved that you rely on third-party code for such important part of your application. Yes and no. So I'll get to that in a second once I just figure out what I'm doing here. Oh, I probably added it to the app. Init, use cores, console. Index, jobs. Huh. Doesn't look like it's done what it needs to do. App. Oh, I need to go and find the generator. So, yeah, Dragonblood, you're totally right. You are totally right. The Faker situation has proved that you can't rely on open source things entirely for something that's really key to your infrastructure, etc., etc., etc. But the thing that we have forgotten, like, first of all, what they did was just wrong. They shouldn't have done that. The way that they did it was entirely incorrect. But he was trying to do it as a protest to the fact that giant corporations weren't paying him any money to develop the software. Weren't paying them any money. I don't actually know if it was a he. So it was unsustainable. What I'm doing here with Authmaker is designed to be sustainable. So, like, once I launch this properly, and it's evening and weekends and it's closed, like, you have to apply to be a pioneer, and I'm the only one who can build things with it right now. Once it's open, it's free to use for you, and I'm going to be doing like a revenue share model, like app store things, where you are not having to pay anything until you start making money, And then in this Stripe implementation, I take a cut off your revenue that you're making from your app, and then that'll be up to a cap, like a maximum cap. So you can either have it work on the revenue share model, or you can pay a certain amount monthly. So once you're starting to make over a certain amount monthly yourself, you should just pay the monthly fee. And then once you're making like that times 10,000, you probably shouldn't be paying me to do that stuff for you. But this is designed to be built in a sustainable way. That's the problem that happened with... that's the Unity model? Interesting, Dragonblood. I don't know. I will have to look into that, because that is the model that I came up with like 5 years ago now, when I started to... Oh, it must have been even more than 5 years ago when I came up with the Authmaker thing. Yes, I know Unity, the game engine, but I don't know what their business model is. So I'll have to look into their business model. But if it's something that people are already doing, cool. Validation. Great. Amazing. Good news. So let me have a look at something. What did I call it? Package JSON. Mongoose. Maker. Let me see. It's in the documentation. Yo, Authmaker Express. And I need to Authmaker Express. Nope. npmjs.com. Oh, you're making me sign in. Okay. Oh. But why? Oh, let's redact this just in case. Redacted. Oh, I must have... Yeah. Good thing I redacted it, because they didn't make it a... They didn't make it a password input. Authmaker Express. Let me have a... What does the actual documentation say? Prerequisite. Oh, the link's broken. Thanks, folks. Authmaker Generator Express. Okay, let's try that. Ha! Background tasks. So, I thought I did this. Oh. Oh my ZSH, what are you doing to me? Yes. If. We need to add cron. Yes, please. Cron index on server Q server. But it's not adding the thing to IQ. Not adding the Q thing. Collapse all. Server. UI. So this is missing something. Wonderful. Static Q. Link me to GitHub. Okay. Let's just go to GitHub. Would you have a landing page if it's so useless? Oh no, Q's no longer maintained. Boo. Okay, so we're gonna have to use something else. Q for no carbon and rock solid stability for. God, that's a bit of a pain. Oh, this is interesting. There's a Mongo-based one that uses jobs. I think I want to use the Mongo-based one so that it's using the same database as my actual data, so I don't have to set up Redis for this thing. That might be really cool, actually. Thanks, Bull. Job. Scheduler. Agenda. Go back in, persistence layer. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Beautiful. Good. Still in active development. This is good. Let's do this. Cool. Okay, so I clearly had a generator that was doing a bunch of stuff for us. We can't use that because it's not gonna work with the thing that we're using. Woohoo! More work. Yay! So we're gonna figure out ooh, excuse me. We're gonna figure out how to use agenda today together. TypeScript. God. Agenda. Delete users. Oh, every nice. That'll be our setup. Agenda to define. Agenda to start. We've got top level awake. Oh wait, now why are they doing that? Wait. For a wait off loops. Ooh, that's interesting. Like top level await is defined in the ES spec. Interesting. Okay, so we define some stuff. See? This is very similar to Q anyway. Create. Whatever. Don't care about any of it. So define is how to define the thing. But what I'm trying to find is... Okay, that's what we want. Okay. Ugh. So, we've found what we want. So in our refresh, we want to agenda.now, do the hokey pokey, turn around. This is... does it matter? So I guess it doesn't matter. Do the hokey pokey. Agenda.now, do the hokey pokey. So that's interesting. I wonder if returns the job. So that means that we probably get a job ID. Up queue events. Job ID. See something. So anyway, so we'll do let job equal. Going to be refresh data. Console log job. And that agenda is going to be interesting because we have like an init thing that we can do to like initialize stuff. MongoDB. Oh, this doesn't need to be thenable. It can be just think stuff, which is much nicer. Just trying to think how to it. Init X. So this used to have a way where it would have like a bunch of things. Yeah, okay. So what I'll probably do is do that. So, so module exports is going to be a function. And that's going to go through await init MongoDB. Actually, do you know what we're going to do? We're going to do this own these are all mongoose can child. Okay, what else? Here, so we're essentially that was a easy way to rename the thing. const mongo. Well, this is interesting actually, because we're gonna do the same thing as we're doing here, but like really ridiculous way. God, that's really awkward. My director. Actually, take the whole. This is ugly, but I'm not interested in fixing it. Everything. I'm gonna go. We can't do for each. Now we know what the files are. For okay. Slightly better. So we're just requiring everything that's not index, everything that, you know, so that should connect it. Something here. We don't have file name is boom, connected. Cool, so that works for the MongoDB one, and now we can create the file. What's this thing called? Agenda? And how do we connect? How do we do this thing? I'm going to exports equals the conf cool. Does this work? Oh, I could just do yeah, it does work because I can just do Can be con. Get. Let me just redact my screen so I can go and see where my connection string is. Ooh. Settings secure is database Mongo connection string. Okay, unredacted. Boom. I've forgotten how this works. I think it's just colons. Database Mongo connection. Like this. Big. Ah. Ah. Agenda. Start. I was just going to redact this real quick to make sure that agenda doesn't print out. Agenda is not defined. Of course it's not defined. I just want to make sure it doesn't print out a connection string when connected. So, crashing. I think it's crashing. So ant codes. Be cool if there was an ID string redactor for streaming. Although I still wouldn't trust it. Yeah, 100%. It has to be better. So this is dying. I'm gonna try catch this. Like stuck. About to. So it never connects. Oh, database. Mongo connection string. So I'm going to just redact one more time. Okay. So I don't see the connection string in the console, so I'm safe. So I was missing that colon because it's like a nested data structure in the enconf. Oh well. So that's connected, which is pretty cool. So now we can start doing agenda things, which is nice. And with that, we're going to do another Pomodoro break. Zoom. How are we feeling? Oh, can we have another discussion about the right and wrongs of Authmaker's open source model? I'm joking. How are we feeling so far? Is this interesting? definitely going to have to improve things a little. I'm taking a leaf from the Ember world where we have generators for everything. So if you wanted to have this queue system, you wouldn't have to do the work that I'm doing today. I would create a generator. In fact, there's already there in my yeoman generator, essentially. And it would generate this stuff for you, and your jobs would be auto-defined. Fuzzy81, I'm all ears. I'm working on a little Ember app, which this would suit. Been looking into Stripe, etc. And well, as you say, auth payment is hard. Yeah, it's redonkulous. It's really cool. Anything to make delivering SASS easier, I'm a fan of. Yeah, it's interesting because the whole idea of Authmaker, well, the first edition of Authmaker was created over 3 days in a really grimy flat in Gateshead in the northeast of England. It was like as part of like a startup that I did a million years ago, and our Gateshead, woo! And it was essentially like our login system we were using. It was PHP, and it was gross, and it was breaking, and it was like, ugh, not fit for purpose. And my business partner and one of the guys we were working with essentially locked me in a room for 3 days while I re-implemented the entire login system, and like they fed me, and like it was mad. And essentially I vowed to myself in that moment that nobody should ever have to do this ever again. So since then, Authmaker's kind of been built in a way that has essentially made sure that it is reusable by other people. So every decision it's made has been specifically to make this job easier for people. Of course, the problem that has happened between that faithful weekend and now is that life has happened, and alas, this sort of stuff doesn't pay the bills, and startups are hard, and burnout is awful, etc, etc, etc. But I'm back in the saddle, and I care a lot about this, so I want to make it happen. This is me building my thing quite out in the open. Alex, welcome. How are you doing? What am I building today? I'm building a full stack application with Authmaker. I'm pretty sure I've talked to you about Authmaker before. Can't remember. Anthcodes. It has not started yet. I've been thinking about it. I want to start it in the next kind of month or two, as well as Ember.js Dublin. But interestingly, there is a Ember Europe, which is going to be hosted either in Intercom or in the Forest offices in Dublin. I'm not sure who's hosting it yet. That is in March sometime. So there's a European what's the word? Hybrid meetup happening in about a month's time at some point. It's going to be pretty cool. So anybody who's online can watch it and hang out. And we'll see how that goes. Oh, you're coming over. Nice one. It'll be good to see you. We should hang out if you're around. And Alex, I don't know if I told you about this. This is my stream that I do once a month. Late night stream. Late night. So I'm actually here until midnight my time, which is another 2.5 hours. So if you're here, hang out. Good to see you. Right, back to programming. So this is now connected. Our agenda thing has started. And there are two things. Our example job is this. So what do we want to do? What did we say? We wanted to do refresh, which is agenda.now refresh data. So let's do that. Let's do this is gross. Don't like it. And it's going to be module.exports. Anyway, so this is what we said. Yeah, so this is what it was. So define priority high, concurrency, blah. Okay, so this is what it is. So we're going to do define refresh data. An async job, and this is going to be go get. Oh, this is really interesting. Go get. Ooh, what's this? Welcome, welcome. This is a sub. You have just done my first gifted sub ever. That's amazing. Woohoo! Celebrate. Thank you, Alex. Very much appreciated. What is this? Async job. Go get GitHub data. This is interesting because we could probably do gifted subs. Amazing. Probably do our rate limiting here. Interesting. This is really interesting, and we'll see why in a minute. Because a process sample. Stuff. Okay. Do we have models? We do have models. Fantastico. Fantastico. So the interesting thing here is that actually, if we think of this as a background job, we don't have the authentication necessary at this point to get the GitHub data for the person in question. And we don't even know who we're getting it for, essentially. So, like, if we do this as like a cron job, it would be like, get all the users, get the ones who have logged in with GitHub. Well, everybody's going to have to have logged in with GitHub, etc. And then, like, use their credentials to get their data, etc., etc., etc. But because we're using this setup, the actual backend setup that our generator has provided, our request has like a user object associated with it now. I'm pretty sure, because we've got like a middleware. Pretty sure that is doing the I don't know if that's true. Let me just check something. Example. No, we'll have to do the middleware ourselves. It fits in the documentation. I definitely have a thing that does this for you. This is backend authentication. Authmaker Verify Express. Ooh. Interesting. Very good. What is this? Get out of there. Middlewares. Ah, perfect. So we can just do that. Cool. I've forgotten how Express does all this. Yeah, so like there's a particular way to do it with the more Express auto route JSON, just add it as a thing, but we need to do this slightly differently. Yep, cool. Here, fresh, and to bar. My God, const. Cool. Now, this is interesting. Why is this interesting? This means that at the point that we actually hit our server, connection failed. So that means agenda is not defined. Ah, yes, because we didn't finish our other thing. Our jobs. Gender define. So, actually, what was the sample job? So it has to be module exports. Oops. So exports equals function. That gets past agenda. Oops. But that's fine. So we're gonna do to then go into our index, and how do we do this? So after we've initted approots, that, then here do what does that do? Explosions. Computer processing. Sample job. Go. Phew. Oh, it's just oh, nice jobs. Cool. Nice one. So, the thing that I was trying to demonstrate, I'll come back to your question in a second, Alex. I just want to make sure this works. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Unauthorized. No access token provided. Oh. Mwah. 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 So, I have put in a little middleware that says Authmaker Verify Express. And this middleware checks the access token in the request, the bearer token, goes and does the Authmaker verification for you, and you just don't need to worry about it. Now, it's telling you no access token provided because I skipped something. And I'll show you what I skipped. So, the whole setup here, and this is the example, is using models.example, whatever, you know, it's not really too important. But essentially, you should be generating a JSON API endpoint using your MongoDB models. And this is literally all you need for a full-on CRUD app. And if you're using Ember data in the front end, that's already handled for you, and it's already sending. If you were using Ember data to do this refresh data, it would already be sending your access token when you're logged in because it's all hooked up. But the problem is we don't have that set up. We don't have the headers, essentially. Let me have a look. This. Ooh, this automatic? I don't know if that's actually automatic. This.session.data.authenticated.access. And how do I add headers to a fetch? It's like authentication. Like this. Oh, what's it complaining about? X. Fine. Oh. Something along those lines. Let's try it. See what happens. Oh. Unauthorized. I'm just going to redact my screen because I don't want to leak. Well, it's kind of pointless because the access token becomes invalid very quickly. and it's only running on my local server, so it's kind of pointless. But anyway, there. Authentication is there. Oh, it's authorization. Ugh. That's just such a pain in the bum. Okay. What do I do? Make sure that I... Cool. Great. I closed it. Cool. Unredact. Boom. Need to make that a button on my computer. So I put in authentication, but it's actually the header is authorization because, yeah. But boom. Internal server error. Much better. What's the error? Blech. Agenda is not defined. Screw you. Where are we? Jobs. Fresh. Agenda. This is an interesting one because I don't know if this is going to work. Don't think this would work in ES modules, but let's try it again. 404 not found. I broke something. Can I find module? Where am I? Do I need to go up more? I need to go up, init, agenda. There you go. Fresh. Whatever. Can't count. Boom, boom. Refresh. Pending. Beautiful. Promise. Pending. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Amazing. Refresh. Fresh. Okay, so we're going to do async, even though that doesn't really do anything in what's this? Where are we? Doing Express. Express doesn't really like async functions at the moment, but I don't care. Wait. Boom. Boom. Pending. Oh, look at this. Job agenda gives you the client. Process every whatever. I don't really care to. DB. ID. It does have its own ID. So that means the reason why I wanted to do this is I wanted to do res.json job ID dot boom boom ba boom boom ba boom. Refresh. Oh, nothing. What? Where was it? Job.atters. That. Ooh. Action. Been restarting. Look at that, it's a thing of beauty. Beautiful. And the reason I did that is because what we can do is in the front end now that it's a background job, we can have something polling in the front end going, hey, is my background job done? Like, it's a bit of a premature optimization, or like pre-planning or whatever. It's not really important right now because we're not going to do that right now, but at least it's validated, let's say. So, Alex, back to your question. How about nest.js for the backend? To be honest, I have looked at many frameworks for backend development, and I think all of them are overkill. The thing that I'm building is less of a framework, and it's more in the kind of Node Unix mentality of, oh, it's just like one thing that wraps around something that's already known. So, like, obviously we're building it from scratch for now, but if you were to generate this yourself, you would have like an example job that would look like this. And again, I'm just learning this myself now anyway, so like, you know, this is the only code that's relevant to what we just built, and we would be spending most of our time here. And then when we're actually building stuff, we spend most of our time just defining like routes like this. There's not actually that much stuff happening in the backend, and that's intentional in the Authmaker stack because it's designed for kind of smaller apps, smaller kind of things where you're just doing CRUD. If you were creating things in the front end and your model happened to be called example, you're creating examples, this is already going to work. You can create an Ember data model that matches your Mongoose model, and you can create them, save them, find them, and everything will just work here as expected, which is kind of cool. Yeah. So it's very light touch. This isn't creating a framework. It's just a library and a bunch of libraries tied together nicely. Anyhooser. So now we get to the fun things. So the key thing here is that I want to go and get... no, I forgot something. So now that we've got Authmaker Verify Express, we have a user object on the request. And that means I might need to just redact for a second. What I want to do is I want to do a console log rec.user. I just want to see if that's going to show it's going to show oh, beautiful. Password is hashed. Okay. Okay. So I'll show you what I've got here. So let's do this to make it bigger. So this is what I logged. So I logged rec.user. Because we've got this as a middleware, it adds it back onto the request, this user for us, if they're logged in. This is all, it doesn't really make a difference. This is a hashed password, salted, doesn't matter that I'm showing it to you. Client ID, I said already, is that it's it's not secure thing. Client secret is, but this is only there to say which client ID created this user. But the key thing here is this external identities. That is an ID that references the actual GitHub login for this user. So if I can go and get those external identities rather, then we can use the access token that's in there and add it to our data, essentially. Pretty cool. And that's our Pomodoro. So let's go and have a Pomodoro break. Do people find this interesting? Curious. Especially people who know me as a front-end developer most of the time and haven't seen this aspect of me. Let's check. I just want to check in on Twitch to see if there's like any massive developer people on at the same time, so they're like stealing all the viewers. Let's see, because I'm not usually like I'm here once a month at this time. 28 software and game development. Okay, so people building games, mobile apps. Oh, there's a crypto casino. Oh god. Of course it's got plenty of viewers. Interesting. Yes, there's a whole bunch of people around. Oh, there's me. Haha. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Yeah, there's a bunch of people around at this time. Interesting. Anth codes. Yes, thanks for the kind words. Yeah, it's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to do this live streaming like with Ember, to show people that Ember is viable, a good idea these days, and show you how to approach problems with it. Have I been raided yet? I haven't been raided. Let me think. I think I have been raided, but like with 4 or 5 people back when I was doing. Oh no, there was a 20-person raid once, but that was back on Thursday mornings. I have been. You're right. Yeah, that was Wimpy something. What's his name? Wimpy's World. That raided me that time. Let me go Twitch, because I have anybody who raids me, I will always, or who I raid, I'll be following it. Show more. Wimpy's World. It was Wimpy's World. Yeah, so they raided me with like 20 people. Was it 100? Oh no, that was Santh codes. Yeah, it was right at the end of the stream. It was in like 5 minutes. You were raided last year with 100 people. Oh my god. So, you stream? Go and have a look at you. Oh, this one to open you. You stream programming Anth codes, or is it just what do you stream? Oh no, that's not what I wanted. No. I want to go to your thing. There. Anth codes. You want to start again soon? Well, I'm telling you now, I just followed you. And I'm gonna... I don't know if I have a shout out. I don't have a shout out. But yeah, I will shout you out normally. Go follow Anth codes. Ooh. Dragon blood. We're at it again. I am not intending to do my challenges on these streams. They're usually for my Friday ones, but yeah, that's not completed yet, so it's not a big deal. Yeah, it's weird. This is definitely an extension of what I do during the week in my 20% time at work, but this is very much not a work thing. Like, I'm on a different computer. making sure that this is all separate because it's my like personal evening and weekends hustle, you know. Right, back to programming. Oh, you get to use all the Rodney emotes. Fantastico. What was I doing? Yes, so I was going to have a look at Mongoose. I'm going to like load a relationship. Be the ducks. Load or something. Yeah, the those ones that could potentially be multiple streams, I have them as quite high channel points, but it's probably going to be the case that I'll have a few smaller ones. Populate, that's the thing I wanted. It's difficult. I want guides, not... Guides, populate. Boom, this is what I want. I can just... There we go. Populate. There we go. That's what I want. Boom. I want to... what was the thing? External identity. There we go. So now... Now I need to definitely redact this. Because this is going to print out my... Potentially print out my... my GitHub keys. So yeah. Okay, that didn't seem to do recting. Rect.user to populate external identity. It's external identity. Save that. Boom. Fresh. Boom. It is external identity. Using Authmaker. Right, so it's not printing out what I was hoping it to do. Just check that. That'll tell me if it's populated. Or if it's using some sort of proxy or something. Undefined, so it's not populating. I wonder what version of Mongoose. Verify 5. Oh, interesting. Press. Maybe that populate doesn't quite do what we would expect. Popping. Yeah, same. Execute populate. That's interesting. That was different. Now I'm just console logging if it's populated. It is. Interesting. So I need to update the version of Mongoose in Authmaker Verify Express, but we're not going to do that today because I want to make progress, y'all. Cool. Cool. So I am actually able to show you this. So this is what the user object is now that I've populated the external identity. We now actually have the external identity, which is GitHub here. And the raw profile is what the OAuth flow gave me back on that user when they were created. And the auth tokens, as the name might expect, are the auth tokens. So the key thing here now is that I want to redact one more time, and I want to just want to see what the auth token shape actually is. Should I be worried about the password field? No, I already talked about this. It's the hashed and salted password. So internal identity 0 dot, and currently this isn't deployed anywhere either. So like even if you wanted to try and reverse engineer that, possibly right now. Internal identity 0 best token. Boom. Sorry, I know redacted isn't very interesting to demo this. Auth tokens dot token. Auth token.
Alright, let's bring that beat back.
Boom. That's what I wanted. So I'm not going to console log that anymore. That's now my token. I'm going to clear my console, so there's no more console there, and then I'm going to de-redact. Boom. Yeah, hashing's really interesting. I didn't know anything about salting hashes until this effort. So, this is another reason why I haven't pushed the button to make this open source as well. Like, I know that there are complicated things to make this more and more and more secure as you go, and I want Authmaker to make enough money to pay for a security audit before I go live with it, because I just don't feel comfortable enough making this source available 100% until after I've paid that money. I just can't afford to do it before it makes a bit of money. So it's a bit of a catch-22. I do know that. But anyway, so this, after we populate our external identities, we have this. How do I go about getting a security audit? The standards are pay money to people who know much better. There are a few companies that work in the node space that do like proper security audits. Essentially, the idea is that you want them to hack it and like essentially do the thing that I don't want people to do by having access to the source. If they have access to the source and they can hack it, then it's not really safe for anybody. Where are we? We're going into agenda again. Where's our agenda? Creating jobs? Where's the data? What's the thing that we're doing? We're doing agenda.now. Schedule. You do data. Name data options. Now name data, and then we can do token is this. Oh, actually this has to go first, and then we do this. Cool. So now what this is actually doing is we're creating our job with data in it that should be this token for GitHub. Really, I should be finding the one that's GitHub, but I know that this app only has one external identity at the moment. This is going to be a bug. I've turned this into a into an actual product. But we're hacking things together on Twitch late night on a Saturday, so it doesn't matter for now. So why does this matter? This matters because we know that we're logged in because we're verified. We know that we have an external identity, and then we're going to go, once this job is taken off the queue, we're going to go and get stuff from GitHub. What are we going to get? We're going to get, let's say, pull requests. What are we going to do? We're going to do pull requests. Let's do GitHub API. REST API, please. Yeah. That's not what I want. Application. Okay, this. Header. That is the thing that we need to do. So let's do that. And that's going to be, assume we can do job.data.token. Is that how it works? Our agenda. Job.adders.data. Our token. Boom, boom. Token. And that can be, and do fetch something. What are we going to fetch? What do we want? We want polls, pull requests? Is that what we should do? Oh, interesting. The default. List pull requests. Owner repo polls. I want to know my pull request. Better pull request. List users pull request GitHub API. Boom, that's what I want. Okay, interesting. Probably. So there's a search. Search. Search commits. Issues and pull requests. Search issues. This is what I want. I want to essentially get all my issues and dump them into Mongo. OctoKit. This is what I was wondering. Should I just use like this? Oh, GraphQL. Get out. Personal. This is all very complex. So this is essentially what I want to do. OctoKit rest. This is what I want. So I think this is what I want. Throttle. Well. And retry. So what is pagination? Okay, so this is what I want here. So I want to do... I want to... I think this is essentially what I want. So I'm not going to do fetch. I'm going to do doing an iterator. Then I'm going to do like search essentially. So search thing. Search. Code. It's issues and pull request. Cube. Per page. Okay, so this is what I want. So Q. Then we wanted to do this person. So this is interesting because actually we need to go back to the so I just go to GitHub search. Equals that. So what am I searching for? Okay, state equals open, author, type equals PR. So, oh, we've run out of time. So I'm going to go and do a break. Okay, cool. Great. So this is what we want to do. We want to do state open, author equals the author, and type equals PR. Which is cool. That's good progress. Let us do our break. I still need to add like a noise to the Pomodoro ending so that I don't just continue developing. Let's see if I can GitHub.com and Sona. I've got like the actual code for running the overlay is open source Twitch overlay on my GitHub. Oh, I can't copy this here. Let's go to twitch.tv /real8. Boom. Boom. Me. Yeah, so yeah, this is just the code for the overlay and stuff. And I have a few issues in there. I'm gonna add a new feature request, which is going to be add noise when a Pomodoro ends. What do you want me to add to the overlay? Just add any old noise so that we know when the Pomodoro ends. Coding. So I created a new issue on that Twitch overlay as a feature request. And when these community challenges where you can use your community points or whatever they're called, what are they called? Channel points. You can use them to vote for things. They're usually coming from those issues overlay. That's going to be a small one, a cheap one. Because it should be easy enough to do, I think. I just have to find a noise. I could record myself saying, "The Pomodoro has ended. Please step away from the computer." Something like that. Something silly. Maybe I could put it to a vote. Do I have a way to vote? To do, like, votes? Ooh! Vote in an active poll. Ooh. Open a setup menu to create a poll. So we can do votes on the Twitch. Cool. Awesome. Amazing. What do we think so far? We're now about to hit GitHub. Oh, I'm so excited. Not sure if y'all are as excitable as me in this particular case. Going to be pretty cool when we get stuff into our database, because then we can very easily start putting that stuff from the database into our Ember app. Start building. Start thinking about design. The idea I have in mind is like just a infinitely scrollable list, and the idea is that it's essentially the open source queue. Start at the top, work your way down, and it's intended to be a way to communicate to people. Like, you know, I haven't forgotten about the thing. It's on my queue, but there's all these things in the queue. And if you want me to get to the thing that you're waiting for me on, you can either ping me, let me know, I'll move it up the queue. Or you can help me with some of the things further up. You can take something off my queue to get your thing bumped a bit. That whole interaction is going to be interesting. And it's at a later date. Oh, why didn't that say go at the end? Odd. Right. Let's get back to it. Boom. So, yes, that was just me creating the thing. So this is the search that I want to do. Now, this is interesting because we don't have enough data. We just have the token, but I want the user as well. So this is where I said earlier on, we're doing the external identities. Going to be the external. Can I just do this? No, I can't. Happy coding. Just put that backward. I want to do. There's the auth tokens, and then there's like the profile or something. Just copy. Console log blah. Obviously, we're going to redact the screen again. Refresh. Tokens. Yes, my auth token is there. So there's a username. That's interesting. We could either do raw profile login, or we've already had it go to the username. So do the username, which is better. Get rid of that console log because it's danger. And that is now our username. We save that. We now have the token and the user. We'll put it in as username. Okay. Save that. And the idea is that we want to like u equals this. Gonna be boom. Boomity boomity. And then essentially what we're going to do here, how many of this do we actually have? We have 95. Cool. That's not my token, by the way. That's the one that was taken from the example. Cool. So now we have to figure out this stuff. So we're gonna have to do npmi git rest git plugin throttling octokit plugin retry. Do we need paginate as a plugin? No, it doesn't look like. Iterator. Cool, that's fine. And then there's author authentication. this. My kit off. Interesting. That's actually. Okay. Cool. My work. And then my OctoKit is throttling and retry. Oh. Oh. Let's try that, see what happens. I need to kill this and restart. Although it probably restarted anyway. What's it doing? Can I find module OctoKit rest? Did I not install that? Oh, I didn't hit enter. Here. Whoopsie! Fuzzy81. I assume happy coding meant you were leaving. It was good to have you, by the way. In case you hear this, even though you're no longer. Okay, so no explosions. Let's see. Did that work? So cool. So right. Now we're in an interesting situation. I don't know what happened to that. Oh. Thanks for that, folks. And dash. Days ago, okay. Dash. Let's show does. What should I do? I kind of want to do this. Shh. Scroll. Pack it in because yay. That one can go up. Dash agenda, and agenda is like to localhost 1000 dash. Okay. Ooh. Failed. Just gonna redact this real quick. Good thing I did. As I suspected, the metadata is not secure. Interesting, because that means that we might not want to save that in the agenda data. Although it's duplication of access tokens rather than going to the user and getting that access token. Yeah. Anyway, the thing that we saw was an error. Plug-in throttling. You must pass an on-abuse limit on rate limit error handler. Yes. So that's fine. Got that wrong. Didn't. Huzzah. Steal the example. I don't know why, if it's like, why there's a default implementation. Okay. Hate it, but whatever. Yeah, maybe. This. Ooh, look at this. Doing stuff. Cool. So, yeah. Guess. Let's. So, you got array of things. What is it? It's like data or something. Let's make it bigger. Howdy. I do start a lot of my issues with that. Okay, so I don't have enough information here, but I have information about the data. So we'll do this, create one of these, and we'll have a look at what the structure is. We can use that to build a mongoose model, which we'll worry about later. Yeah. Why is that returning the issues? Every auth. That's a... Oh, so I am the author of this pull request. God, I don't even know what this is. What is it? I don't know if I'm even using this, but you can see I've been interested in auth-related things for a while. Anyway, I digress. Cool. So instead of a console log there, let's go here and we'll inspect at a depth of 1. Response. Now we won't get the contents of the response. We'll get like the shape of it. Let's go here. So data. Cool. And we're getting multiple ones. Look at this. It's doing it multiple times. 1, 2, 3. Just keeping going. Incomplete results false. False. How amazing is that? $30. So yeah, okay, cool. Interesting. Headers are very interesting. Search. Cool. We're getting here. So data. So mongoose. How do I Cool. So I just do mongoose create. Okay, so we need to define a model. Okay, awesome. This is interesting. Very interesting. So that is... Those are pull requests. And they have this shape. User state. It is a pull request, so we get the object in there. Doesn't tell me specifically the type. Just we know that it's a pull request. So if we go back to search, we do author. These are authored by me. $228 issues or pull requests authored by me. Interesting. So, okay. Let's go through these one by one. URL, repository, labels, URL, comments URL, events URL, HTML URL, number, title, user, labels, state, signing, milestone, comment, dated at, closed at, author association, active lock read, draft, false, pull request, bomb. Okay. So I'm going to change this for a second. Going to now going to get PRs and issues. Print them out. So see, bad idea. That one isn't a pull request. Issues. Author association. This is interesting. So the ...2014. Oh my god. I did say I was working on this for a very long time. Okay. So what was I looking at? Looking at this. So URL repository labels, ID, node ID, number, title, people. So essentially, it doesn't tell me that it's an issue. It's just that it doesn't have the pull request in the data. So I'm gonna here do depth 2 so I can see what's in the pull request data that's coming from GitHub. It's not all that interesting. Body action. Interesting. I've got user stuff. Just really quickly redact that just in case there's the avatar URL, gravatar URL, nothing. Notes. Okay, so this is interesting, I think. Let me just do that again and put in issues, and then the total waste of my do I found? Just want to see what the structure difference is between something that is and isn't a pull request. This one, not a pull request, and this one is a pull. So draft and pull request are on pull requests. That's it. That's all we have. Cool. Cool. So now we have a superset. That's great. Fantastico. So now what we need to do, we need to we've run out of time again. Need to keep an eye on that Pomodoro timer. Okay, so we've done a bit of data wrangling, which is nice. It's a nice one. And we are going to what are we going to do next? We're going to use the definition of a pull request, as we know it's a superset of a issue, and we're going to use that to define a mongoose model, and then we're just going to create all of those things in our database when we refresh the data, essentially. Create, is that right? We want to upsert. Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be a bit complex. We want to create. Mongoose up. upsert. Yeah, this is interesting. So, I wonder if you can upsert any. Reading documentation or just for each. Should be fine. I'm just gonna for each. Yeah, that should be fine. Shouldn't be a big problem. Just upsert. Because then it'll always just keep things up to date. It wouldn't be like polluting the database. Cool. Awesome. Fantastico. Nice. Oh, this is getting very exciting very quickly. Gonna check my phone while we're here. Am I the only one who's excited? How excited? What's your level of excitement at the moment, folks? What's the highlight? What's the feeling? Ooh, you finished your migration script. Now you just have to run it. Run it straight on prod. You know, don't even test it. It's totally fine. Woo! Right. Let's go. Let's go with our setup here. So, essentially, you know, find one and update is essentially what I'm looking for here. So what we need to do is we need to go and define our mongoose model. We have an example here, so we can just use this for. We're just going to call it an issue. And we're going to drop some stuff. What are we going to do? What it's going to do with ID. ID. So do we need the URL repository? That's interesting. The node ID. God, got too many tabs open. That's interesting. Coding ASMR, I love it. What's the question? Aren't you using GitHub as an auth provider here, by the way? Yes, I am. Why are you asking that question? Type. So, the setup here, essentially, so I'm gonna log. I just logged out of the app. So this is actually an Ember app here with the Authmaker add-on installed. When I click login, it redirects me. Oh, that's interesting. There's an error. The cores error. Damn you. Damn you, cores. It should be deleting the token there. How do we do this? Oh, there we go. I go here. And location storage. Delete cookies. Right. Clear site data. I couldn't see it because my screen is actually slightly purple. So by clicking login, it redirects you to the open source Q authmaker.app. So like this is the live setup for this. So that will be when this becomes public and it's not just running on my computer, it'll be running the exact same thing. And I'll probably add a feature here so you can't log in with email and password, because you need to log in with GitHub. And by logging in with GitHub, it creates, so first time you do it, signing up with GitHub, it creates your user, but also gives you the like GitHub profile stuff. So like your access tokens, your GitHub profile, saves that in the database. And now I don't need to worry about that anymore. Like that's just done, that's in the database. And now I'm talking to my endpoint, my backend, logged in, and I can do things with those access tokens. I can go back and get them from the database, essentially. And that whole setup is made incredibly easy for you with plugins. And we'll see what that looks like in a second as well. And I'm creating this event, so I'm just fetching, I'm getting an endpoint, refresh, which hits this refresh thing, and then I'm going and getting the external identities, which in this case is the GitHub one, and then making sure the token and the username are in this agenda job thing. So it's just a background job essentially. And then I just hit the GitHub API with that. So it's like, I know it's a lot of pieces to kind of think of, but these are complexities in the app rather than the login system. The login system, crazy simple right now, which is awesome. Cool. Anyway, so the idea, it looks like it's safe. Where was I? I was here. Issue. It looks like it's safe for us to use node ID as like the identifier. So we can like find an update with node ID, I think. We're not going to use that ID because it doesn't matter. HTML, events, comments. Do I care about that? What does number mean? I guess that doesn't matter because its title is relevant. I'm gonna put that in the to where the examples we care about. User labels. Date. Guess we've already. Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting problem. We're searching for open issues. We'll never have them close with this search, with just an upsert. We'd have to have something that's like checking the status of them, which is interesting, or something that was receiving like notifications or something. We'll worry about that in a minute. The question is, how many do I have that are closed? 228 issues. State closed. Oh, gee. Wow. That is a lot. If this is logged in. Okay, so that does include private stuff. I want code search. I want like, how do I make it private? Right, nice to see you, Dragon Blood, as ever. Great chatting. Interesting. I don't know. Is public. Just found our first Boom. Just found our first paid for feature. Woohoo! So if you want to keep track of public things, private. I just want to have a look here. Authmaker stuff is coming up. I want to see if it says anything about whether or not it's private. Okay, let's refresh our data again. Oh, internal server. Hi. Property, find one. Because I've got stuff in my model. Stuff. Is that it? Model is missing. So let's do. Right. Good to see you, Anthcodes. Thanks for hanging out. It was great to see you. We're gonna go issue. Models.issue. Resource. Issue. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Don't know if you're still there, Anthcodes, but that's the key thing here. This has got a full-on CRUD setup for that issue object that we're building. Boom. Amazing. Cool. So we're good. Have a look and see if we get any data. Oh. Total count 0. What? That's interesting. So my token must not be asking for private stuff. Cool. Great. So we know how that'll work out. That's fine. Don't need to worry about that for now. Cool. Where are we? Models. Issue. Keep going. So I guess what we can do is we can make sure that we check the state of each of the issues. Essentially, and it's interesting because this might be something that GraphQL would speed up. No, I don't like GraphQL. Cool. Locked. I don't know what that means. Signee, I guess we could include. Okay, so you can just have an array. I don't know what the array is. That must be fine. Do we have tiny yet? The other one. Ugh. Doing fresh. Let's see. I'm going to do upsert for each one here. So my knee, then I want the stuff in it, please. Just want to see what a signee looks like. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay. Oh, that's wrong. Whoops. Boom. Two. Right. It was foolish of me. It's an array of objects. Signees. Signee. So next. Next. Okay, cool. So we can just do game it up mix. Map. Value. So, nope, issue. Created at the date. But I don't know that I need to keep it in whatever. Draft Boolean pull request. Next. Body. I want to save the body. A waste of data. I'm not going to save the body, it's too much. reactions. Rails them up together. What does score mean? So we've got labels. Don't need labels, URL. Getting any of these things. Wasn't. We'll do those two. Cool. Now we've got React. We've got our issues. Need to figure out how to do like upsert. Find one on update. In here. That's going to be issue. Going to be ready. Boom. It's going to currently break because we haven't imported the issue stuff. Anyway, let's do our last just chat. And then we'll have one more Pomodoro and we're done. Contact me, so must be okay in the house. Good. So it looks like a lot of our European friends have left for the night. Let me have a look what this software and gaming is like at the moment. Let's go to Twitch. What was that? Software and game development. Yeah, so a few of the larger ones seem to have gone away. Interesting. Now I'm further down. Pomodoro break. Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. Oh, I hope people are enjoying the show. We're like one step away from getting our data into the database. Data into the database. Data into the database. And actually showing it in the Ember app. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I might restrict the data that's actually being sent to the user just a bit small for now. I'm going to do like a find all, get all of the things that are there. Be a lot. Yeah, that's not so bad. Good, that'll be fine. It's nice to have this lo-fi music in the background. I am very excited that we're about to actually show some data in the Ember app. Oh, I might cut the Pomodoro break short because I just want to get back to it. I'm going to, because I make the rules. This is my stream. Right, so this thing is interesting. Because if we look in server issue, models, so it's models.issue that I want to do. I want to do the same thing in fresh data. Models is going to be only up one models, and then I can do models.issue. That's finding it by node ID, passing in the issue, and we're saying upsert true. I think, right? I don't know. Fine. Just kill. Put it in MongoDB. See if it explodes. Internal server error. Cannot. The break. Oh, mongoose. Yeah, so we can just do schema. That. Oh, that. That is not defined. That. God, come on. It's just too late. That's what I'm doing wrong. Open is not valid. state. Oh, there we go. Let's do this. So we don't have any logging for that, which is interesting. I could go and check the database, but I could also just take this stuff. Interesting, I probably don't need that. Let's go into the front end, because let's just get it from the front end. Going to get the issue. And in our front end, we will I'm going to put stuff in here, essentially, like matter. Let's do title. Stuff. Guess I don't actually know how this is defined anymore. Any models. It is from cool. So we're going to be able to get all of the models. Do we have any routes? We have application. Probably do an index route. In case we want to have other routes or whatever for like the actual issue itself. Maybe, I don't know. Index, and on here we're going to go model. I'm going to go. Oh, I think we have to import connect service. Service. I think we have to do store now. Find all of the issues, and then here I'm going to boom boom boom. Each model like I don't know. Maybe that's it. Okay, so what we need to do here, we have a adapters application. A lot of words. Cool. Adapter. Host. already had this with the fetch. That was fetch was in the application controller. Yes, API host. API host. Now what happened? 404 not found. Oh, and then namespace. What's the other thing that it had? Base. V1. Gonna do oh, it's a thing of beauty, folks. Look at this. Oh, what a thing of beauty. What are we doing here? We can do index. Oh, 215. What was that? Is that right? Open. Open issues that we were looking for. Open. Is private. Is public. Look at that, 215. Oh, it's a thing of beauty. Oh, that's really cool. Now, now what? Now this is the list of all the things that I need to be doing. I'm curious, like, filter them by pull requests or did. So let's do. I don't have a type yet. I'm gonna do request. Oh. Getter. If the pull request here oh, thing of beauty. So repository URL. That's interesting. Curious about the org. So positive. Just messing at this stage. You can see the actual org. You can actually see the repo as well. Thing. So just do it as so. This is where things get interesting from my perspective. Essentially, the goal of this entire feature, the whole thing, is to have a way to order this list so that I am always working off the thing at the very top. Full stop, no question. Like, I will work on this and then I will work on the next thing. Now, it's interesting because we have a few different heuristics that we want to bake into that. First heuristic is essentially like maybe we should be working on pull requests first. You know, maybe that's something that. And maybe we want to add other heuristics like Empress is more important to me than Mansona. You know? Maybe not. Or maybe, and this is where the stuff gets particularly interesting, I think. Where, like, fine, we can do heuristics and I can feed it back into the system and like order things. But then, like, let's say I've decided Ansona is the lowest priority. The fork. Maybe we need to have information about the repos themselves and whether they're forks, etc. So like a forked repo is likely to be lower priority, but let's say this thing, I've decided that that's the top of my list. Then I want essentially this to have a natural order, as well as me being able to reorder things manually. And I don't know if that's okay for it to have like a natural order and then like a swim lane at the top that I've moved things up. This is the crux of the app. And now we're at a point where not only do we not need to like hit the data, like what's this? This is timing here. Reading. Long. Long request. Preserving log. I am preserving. It is connecting to a remote MongoDB database because, yeah, on Atlas. So maybe that's essentially the thing here. When I deploy it, that weighting would be much lower. I don't know. It is what it is for now. That must be. But this isn't hitting GitHub anymore. That's now separate. This is now my data. I've pulled the data in from GitHub and available. Cool. Cool. And I can now just iterate on my own app separate to essentially the data being loaded, and like essentially we've finished that aspect of it, or at least, you know, one aspect of it. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. We're still only like this refresh GitHub data only specifically calls for like open thing. We need to have something to check those open things and make sure that they haven't been closed, their status hasn't changed. That needs to happen every hour or something. I don't know. Whatever it is. Yeah, we are now at a point where we can start pulling together the actual use case of this single feature app, which I think is pretty cool. Like if we consider what happened last time we did this, last month, did this particular type of stream, I spent 3 hours. I didn't upload the video because it was a nightmare in the end. But we spent 3 hours we spent an hour fighting with the setup because this laptop hadn't been turned on in like 2 years. And it just was dying. And it was just going so slow. And then we got to a point where the Authmaker add-on didn't work, and we needed to fix that. We weren't actually working on our code. So really, the vast majority of this implementation has been in this stream. And if I was not spending my time chatting and talking about what I was doing, I could probably be a bit more efficient. But like, first iteration out in 4 hours. How many Pomodoros did we do? This is probably a 4-hour stream at the moment. I think that's pretty good. But yeah, if anybody's watching this back on the YouTube, please comment below. Tell me what you think. I'd be curious to know people's thoughts. But yeah, I'm pretty much zero to the barest of bare bones of this app. That's it, really. I'm gonna watch the clock tick down and call it quits in 52 seconds. I feel good about this. I feel great. This is been a lot of fun. My wife just texted me. Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell her that I'm all done. But yeah, so thanks again, everybody, for the chats. I know most of you have gone to bed now already, but watching back the VOD, it was great to have yous, and hope you have awesome weekend, and I'll see you all on the next stream. Bye, folks.